10 minutes a day, everyone. 10 minutes a day of strengthening. Do you think you can handle it? Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm a physical therapist from Integrated Physical Therapy in Bellingham, Washington. So I implore my clients to all be on a strengthening program. And I have multiple videos on the channel about how if you're not a gym person, you can do it at home, get yourself some bands. There's all sorts of things you can do. And then I'll tell them, look, you know what, give me 10 minutes a day. That's not asking too much. Now within your exercise program, we have to focus on what we call the weak link. Let's say, for example, you struggle with balance. Well, then you might have to do that balance exercise on a daily basis. Or let's say you struggle with being able to get up and down from a chair or from the floor. Well, that might be something where you work on your legs maybe 3 to 4 or 5 times in a week within that 10-minute session. So when you work on strengthening exercises for 10 minutes daily, they can look differently. You don't have to do the same exercises over and over again. Explore the channel. I've got all sorts of exercises on there. In this particular video, we're going to talk about basic pelvic floor strengthening exercises, as well as a way in which you can kind of prevent, well, we don't want to talk about it, but leakage sometimes. I got some clients, you know, and men and women, it happens to everybody, but you cough or you sneeze or maybe even walk fast and you get a little bit of leakage of, urine. And so there's ways in which you can strengthen up that pelvic floor to kind of limit that, all right? Let's get into it. You're gonna lie down comfortably. Now you may need a pillow for your head if you need to, if you can't lay flat. If you can tolerate it, it's a nice way to learn how to lay flat. But what I don't want is your head all the way up through here. So if you need to, go ahead and get a pillow for your head. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to learn how to engage a muscle called the transverse abdominis, which kind of goes around the abdominals here. Remember, if you've watched any of my other videos, I don't want you doing core exercises where you're doing crunches and things like that, because it just turtles us forward and it puts a lot of compression on the anterior part of the lumbar spine, which we don't want, especially if we have any type of osteoporosis or osteopenia or bone density issues. So as you're laying here, you should have a little bit of a curve in the small of your back, which is what we want to try to maintain. That means your spine is in neutral. And then what you're going to visualize is you're going to take your belly button and you're just going to draw your belly button in towards your spine. Now I'm not doing a pelvic rock, because here you can notice I've lost my neutral spine. So I'm going to keep my spine with a little bit of a curve in the small of my back, whatever you naturally have. Now what some people do wrong is they engage that and they kind of pull that belly button in towards their spine and they lift their head up and they hold their breath. That's not what we're after. So you're going to continue to breathe, you're going to relax, but then just take your belly button and draw it in towards your spine. Now, I'm doing that at the same time I'm squeezing my pelvic floor. It's almost like I'm lifting my pelvic floor. What you want to visualize is almost like you're stopping your flow of urine. So you're trying to pee, but you're stopping midstream. So I've got the pelvic floor contracted and lifted. I've got my transverse abdominis, or my contracted, which means I'm pulling my belly button in towards my spine. And then I'm just going to hold this for a 10-second count as I breathe. And it's going to seem really simple, but I'm telling you, it's going to take a while for you to be able to do this and breathe at the same time, because you're going to want to hold your breath. And I don't want you to go on to any other exercises until you can get this down. After a 10-second hold, you're going to relax everything. Because remember, all pelvic floor exercises, all core exercises, all start with the abdominals being pulled in, as well as the pelvic floor being pulled up. Whether you're planking or doing anything, you've got to get this movement down first. Once you can do 10 of these, you're ready to move on to the next exercise. And then what happens is this basic pulling in exercise becomes a nice warm-up before you do other stuff. The second exercise is a bit more advanced. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my pelvic floor. I'm going to engage my belly button. I'm going to pull up my pelvic floor. I'm going to bring my belly button in towards my spine. I'm going to keep that kind of locked as I breathe, and then I'm going to slide one leg down. I'm going to stop when I feel like my low back is starting to arch up, or if there's any pain. Remember, none of this stuff should be ever painful. Back up again. So I'm going to slide down, keeping everything kind of locked. If I can go all the way down, that's great. And back up again. And what you'll find is that as you slide your leg down, your back is going to want to arch up. So you're going to have to work that much harder at the pelvic floor as well as through the abdominal brace to keep your back neutral. Start off by doing anywhere from 3 to 5 repetitions on each leg. Nice and slow. Make sure you're breathing. You're constantly tuning in, keeping your pelvic floor contracted, as well as your transverse abdominis by pulling your belly button in towards your spine. You can alternate legs if you want to, whatever you're comfortable with. Ideally, what I want you to do is 2 sets of 10 on each leg. For the next exercise, we're going to bring our arms into it. So once again, pelvic floor is lifted and contracted, belly button is pulled in towards our spine, and then I'm just going to take one arm and I'm going to lift it straight up over my head. Same kind of concept here. As I bring my arm up, my low back is going to want to arch. So I'm just going to have to cause my stomach to work that much harder. So bring it up just until I feel like I can kind of maintain that neutral spine, and then back down again. Once one arm gets easy, I progress with 2 arms. And I go up. Right about here, I really feel like my low back wants to arch, so I'm working hard to keep everything contracted. That's about as far as I want to go. And then I'm going to come back up to neutral. And remember, I'm breathing the whole time. This exercise is a lot harder than it really looks if you're focused on maintaining that lift of the pelvic floor as well as the belly button pulled in towards your spine. Remember, you're kind of stopping that flow of urine by lifting up that pelvic floor. The final exercise is we're going to put legs and arms together. So now you're going to start with your arms up through here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide my right leg down as I take my left arm overhead. It's called the dead bug. And I'm keeping my focus on my core. Pelvic floor is lifted. Belly button's pulled in towards my spine. 2 sets of 10 on this one. The last progression, when you're an abdominal pelvic floor rock star, is you're actually going to hover your legs up this way. Once again, pelvic floor lifted, transverse abdominis contracted, arms are here, right leg, left arm, left leg, right arm. This is only after you've mastered all the other ones, and you're really going to get a nice pelvic floor and abdominal workout. 2 sets of 10. Now we're going to get a little personal. That's why I'm kind of whispering a little bit here. But let's say you have trouble with leakage of urine when you're coughing, sneezing, maybe even walking fast, maybe jumping. It happens, right? All that is weakness of the pelvic floor. And so doing these exercises will help that. Now there's other things involved as well too. And of course, see your pelvic floor therapist or your specialist. But working on that pelvic floor tightening and lifting is a great idea. Now in the exercises that we just did, we were doing more of a prolonged hold. But if you're having trouble with leakage, what I want you to do is 10 quick contractions. So lift up your pelvic floor, stop the flow of urine, and let it relax. Lift it up and back down. I'm doing it as we speak. And then what you want to do is sets of 10, but do that multiple times in a day. So what I'll tell people to do is, look, every time you sit down to eat or drink something, do a quick squeeze and release of that pelvic floor. And then when you do sneeze or cough, then what you'll do is you'll automatically brace and you're less likely to have that embarrassing slippage. But it happens, you know what? No big deal. The exercises I just showed you will help to improve the stability of your core as well as improve pelvic floor musculature. And remember, it all starts with being able to control that abdominal muscle and engage that pelvic floor. All right, if you have any questions, please leave it down below. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so, and ding, turn on your notification so you never miss another one of my videos. All right, thank you very much for watching. Until the next video, do your pelvic floor stuff. Go, get out of here. Bye.